of you who are live, and welcome to the Medium channel. And we welcome those of you that are not live or not watching this live, I should say. You are alive. But anyway, welcome to the Medium channel, where we bring you the spirituality behind the message. And thanks for spending a part of your holiday weekend with me. Well, holiday weekend for the Americans, anyways. So let's see. We have Pure Water. Good morning, 1212. Colleen, Susan, and Judy, and so far. And yeah, we're expecting a small group today because it is a holiday weekend. And here in the Catskills, it's really beautiful. And as I often ask on a Sunday morning, are we coffee, tea, or caffeine free today? And I'll tell you, I'm going straight for the hard stuff. I've got Irish breakfast tea and um, so what we're gonna so anyway, you guys can let me know, or you can just say hi where you're coming from. So we're doing tarot time for anybody who's new or is watching this as a video. Is sometimes I talk a little bit about the current events and do a little discussion with you guys, and then go into you know the tarot. We do a meditation card, a 3 card spread for the week, and then I have other little divination tools, like we have our Native American cards, our our animal totem cards, and our angel cards. So very often there's a very consistent message that develops through all these techniques. And what we do is a tarot forecast for the week. It's not necessarily going to be predictive on what's going on in the world. It's more for our community and what we need to do to stay empowered, to stay safe, and to stay on our spiritual path and on our path of awakening during this time where there's so much dissension and so much negativity and resistance to awakening, and a lot of fear-based programming and everything. So in any event, yes, I'm a little bit out of it, or do I say that every Sunday morning? Well, I have a legitimate reason today because I've had a very busy week, and I was up in the Berkshires yesterday doing a mediumship event and didn't get home till like after 11. So I barely slept last night. So for those of you that know me well know that I'm one of the busiest mediums like on the planet, I think these days. So anyways, hi everybody and welcome. I think so Colleen had her first night of live music. Wow, good for you. And Gavin is in, albeit briefly probably, but hi Gavin, welcome. And warm lemon water for margaritas last night. As long as you're not having margaritas this morning, we're good. All right. So what's going on in the world? I've had a really busy week. Usually I've kind of checked in on current events and what's going on. I mean, basically, one of the things that I would say, we've been saying for a while, to watch out for the food shortages. And I think we may start to catch wind of a shortage of wheat. That's kind of in the latest thing that's kind of been popping up. Um, I don't know if that's in the news yet or not, but keep an eye on that, or grains or rice or some staples, I want to say. And yeah, but the weed, and I'm pretty sure that the Bill Gates Foundation owns most of the land that grows weed in the United States. Not that I'm suggesting there's a connection, of course. It's just interesting how that works out. And lately there's been the whole thing with the formula, the baby formula shortages, and a plant up in Michigan or whatever. But then there's a new product. I'm not going to get too into it, but um, today, anyways, because I just it doesn't feel like it's the right time. Now I know why. Spirit's saying it's Memorial Day weekend. Let's shift the narrative a little bit and just give a little bit of of prayers and gratitude for our fallen veterans, including my dad. Although he didn't die in battle or anything, he was 5 days short of his 90th birthday, but he was a war veteran. So let's give a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of prayers for those brave men and women who have basically you've served our country, served our planet, served humanity to try to make this world a better place and a more peaceful place for everybody. So big prayers of gratitude and everything. So, let's have a really good weekend here in the Northeast. We had a rainy day yesterday, but we've got beautiful weather the next couple of days to enjoy this. So hopefully that's the case wherever you guys are from. So, hey, Janice, there's vodka. Oh my goodness. Enjoy. It's a holiday. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Yvonne. I'm the Gates is a demon. Oh, you mentioned speak of celebrity death. Oh gosh, Ray Liotta died. There's another celebrity that died too, and I forgot who. I wasn't aware of Ray Liotta, but there's another one. Okay, I can't remember who. So I'm in a good mood, even though I haven't slept. I haven't eaten breakfast. But one or two of you know that I'm a closet hockey fan, and my hockey team's doing really, really good, much better than expected. And the New York Rangers forced a game 7, so we weren't even expecting them to reach the second round. So I'm in a good mood for a lot of reasons. The sun's shining. It's a great day to be alive. It's a tough time, but we're very privileged. We're like chosen to be here at this time to help make a difference, to help shape a new consciousness, a new humanity, a new world, a new trajectory. So we just have to hang in there. And the thing is, hold your boundaries well, but stay in the eye of the storm. So choose your battles wisely now, but make sure we're holding our boundaries, staying in our power. And when we feel the pressures of society, whether it's from the media or something that's designed to invoke fear, we've all heard of the monkeypox now, which from what I understand is not a good candidate for a pandemic, just the way that it spreads and everything. But we're made to believe that at least the specter of a new pandemic and new lockdowns is kind of looming in the ether, so to speak. But whether that happens or not, we can't control it. We just have to understand that it's really a tool to diminish our power. And when we come into fear and anger, it reduces our power in so much as we go into these survival based emotions when there's really no survival threat. So when that happens, we kind of pull all of our energy into our body and dealing with whatever our subconscious believes is a threat, even if it isn't. And that kind of pulls away from our connection to spirit and source, and our connection with the heart, and our connection with each other on a more spiritual level. So again, things to kind of keep in mind. So often I do a little bit of a mini tutorial with the tarot. I just feel like they're saying just to talk about, I was going to talk about one thing. Oh, okay. And then they were pulling me to the magician card, which is curious. It was right at the bottom of the deck. And I was going to talk about something completely different. And then I was seeing the magician card. So I pulled my card, and it's literally right at the bottom of the deck here. And this is amongst other things, represents the planet Mercury. Now, Mercury is retrograde. It's actually starting to station, and it's going to go station direct, I think, on Friday. Sharita is not in, so she cannot interject that. But and then it's going to go back into Gemini. So Gemini is Mercury ruled also. Currently, Mercury pulled back into Taurus, but it'll take it in about 2.5 weeks. It'll go back into Gemini, and then Gemini can be about duality. The planet Mercury is the cosmic trickster also, and when Mercury is retrograde, and stationing, the idea is we really want to kind of a couple of things. One, pull from our own resources, rather than maybe making this a high action week. Even though we're coming up to a new moon on Monday morning, so that's actually we're in the dark moon now. It's going to be new, I think 7:30 a.m. I think is the hour of the new moon, which tend to be more of the new moon itself tends to be very kind of chill, and then as the moon starts to wax, it tends to be energetic. But with that Mercury station, and there's a few other aspects that are going on, feel like they're just saying, go within the heart. Because as I'm talking and feeling my heart chakra, a lot, like the center of my chest, and that's where we find our answers. That's where we find our place of safety. That is the eye of the storm. It is our heart center. Um, and that's where we can stay powerful. Like things can go on all around us, but we can stay in our source of power, our source of truth, our connection to spirit, our connection to God. So other things with with the magician is the creator, right? And he's got all the suits of the tarot below him. um, the suits of the tarot represent different energies of life, like the wands are fire, the swords are air, the cups are water, and the pentacles are earth. So they're different energetic qualities, but different steps or stages that we go through in life. So this is really about learning how to be the creator of our destiny rather than the victim of what society's creating for us. And when we seek to create our reality, to manifest things, sometimes what gets lost in that understanding is that we're also creating on a collective level. So we have to understand that as a collective consciousness, we're creating a lot of what's going on in the world. So we have to honor that and be aware of that as we seek to create things individually in our own lives. So there's certain parameters, certain laws that we have to be aware of and understand. But the idea of manifestation, at least in the context that I'm talking about, is rather than allowing the collective consciousness to dictate your energy or your vibration. The idea, or put it this way, rather than letting the collective affect you, seek to affect the collective. So seek, when you go into your own power, like into your own manifestation, send a lot of love and a lot of positivity into the collective, because it's same old thing. We're all connected, and we're all affected by what's happening in collective consciousness. But then again, we are also generators of energy, and we can feed into the collective. We can feed more positive energy into the collective. So when I work with the master teachers in the channeling that we do, they talk about this a lot also, and they work with our frequencies to try to help us along. On that note, this week's channeling is going to be on Zoom. It's still free, but it'll be on Zoom with Heather Istara for the new moon. They were going to do it on Tuesday because I just don't see a lot of people being available Monday night, tomorrow during a holiday weekend. So we're going to do it Tuesday evening on Zoom. If you want to be part of it, you'll need the Zoom login code. So you get that at info@atombetweentheworlds.com. So that's info@atombetweentheworlds.com. Heather's a very amazing healer and an energy channel as well. So she does her healing transmission, and I work with the master teachers to bring messages and activations for us as a group and a collective. So anyway, Daughter Samantha in your prayers. Yes, keep Samantha, the lupus warrior, in our prayers, and everybody that is suffering from whatever illness. Although Spirit is reminding me not to, there's a lot of power in words, not to even use the word suffering, but rather is learning, growing, and developing through a physical issue or a mental or emotional issue. So we want to send Samantha prayers, but also thanking her for making the sacrifice to go through this in her life to help uplift her spirit, which helps uplift everybody, basically. So on that note, let's pull a meditation card. Yes. So I will ask Spirit to guide me to the right card for a meditation card this morning. Okay, Spirit saying practice makes perfect. I don't know, but I think people in this group, in our community, I think it's just a message for all of us, whatever we're trying to develop or grow in our lives, or whatever skills we're learning or whatever. to make sure that we're practicing. And I feel like they're saying reprogramming also. While Mercury's station before it goes direct is an ideal time to reprogram our minds and change our energies. It's an ideal time to go within because it's retrograde, it's reverse, it's the RE. And so Mercury retrograde is not good for a ton of things. It's not really good for computers or technologies or stuff like that, but it is good for going within. It's very meditative. It's good for reprogramming. Remember that RE prefix. We need to reprogram. Society programs us. We can choose to program ourselves, but the truth is, or the unavoidable fact of being a human, is that the way the subconscious mind works, it works on programs, and that's just how the mind works. That's just how it is. So we can either program ourselves or allow the outside world to program us. So we have a lot of tools on the channel. We use affirmation and sleep programs, amongst others, working with the heart center, all of that stuff. And get out into nature. It wouldn't be a Sunday morning in tarot time if I didn't at least say once to you guys, get out into nature, step away from the computer. All right, I'm leaving. I'm just kidding. Step away from the computer, step away from the cell phone, spend at least a half hour, daily if possible, just to get away from all the technology and back into the rhythms of life that we start to connect with when we're out in nature. And by reconnecting with those rhythms of life, the flows of energy that go through everything, it's so healing, and it's such a good counterbalance because technology is inevitable and it does not have to be a negative thing. It just needs to be in balance. So that said, guide me, please, spirit, to the right meditation card. And this is the one. And the Knight's Journey. The Knights are travel cards. This is the Knight of Pentacles. Um, you know, I have to see what he's saying. Hi, you may not like my not so conspiracy theory stuff. I'm like to be being aware to what's going on and the agendas in my stories. This is my not so conspiracy theory stuff. All right. Well, you know, we don't do a lot of conspiracy theories here, or maybe we do in a subtle way here on the Medium channel, but we recognize that there are conspiracies. So it's learning how to separate the theories from the facts. Sometimes the theories become facts, sometimes they don't. But anyway, um, very good. Thank you, for your comments. What else was about it? There's definitely been an anger and black cloud in the air while the public during. Yeah. So again, stay in the eye of the storm, stay in the heart. Very good. So meditating with tarot, the way I recommend, step inside the card, see the whole scene. So this is like a little doorway or little window. When we step in, it's interesting. It looks like there's farming and fields in the background. Although he kind of looks like a Viking also. So I don't know what this is saying. But anyways, Pentacles is about the earth, Knights are about fires. This card is fire of earth, and those two elements. So part of the meaning, can be about changes in terms of things that are like financial or material or stuff like that. But as you meditate in the card, see, you can treat the Knight of Pentacles as a spirit guide that's going to help you to get into the best place physically in your life in order to facilitate your spiritual growth. One of the things that this energy can teach us is that the material, the physical life, is not separate from the spiritual life. They're really one and the same, and that everything is really energy. And what we see is physical matter, like all the varieties. Like out of the window, I see trees. There's a window here. There's a table here. But all that's an illusion. It's everything is energy, and there's different frequencies of energy, infinite frequencies of energy. So the table is one frequency, my body's another frequency, the air I'm breathing is another frequency, but it's not real, like not the way we see it. It's energy that's being filtered through what I call the human operating system. So it's really our perceptions as humans that make this all seem like there's form, but it's really illusion. It's all energy. It's all your atoms are 99.99% empty space. So that's really understanding that is going to be very helpful to allowing your physical life, your material life, whether it's an illusion or not, or Maya, as the Vedics or Hindus call it, illusion, it's still real. It's still, our classroom. It's still how we are choosing at this time to spiritually grow and evolve is through this physical environment. So understanding that the physical is a mere reflection or a manifestation of the spiritual, not a separate thing. And all the strife and struggles in the world is a manifestation of collective consciousness. It's something we've chosen as a collective. Somebody's funny up there because I feel like somebody just say, yeah, God got bored and is living through vicariously through our own experiences in this material world, or something to that effect. But the point being is that we're evolving and growing as a collective, dealing with all this duality, good versus evil, wars, famines, natural disasters, or whatever. It's all here to help us to experience and expand our experience, because the universe is expanding now, so we're meant to expand with it, and to add to that expansion. And okay, they're saying you made your point, move on. But anyway, so when you go into the card, you can step in with this figure here, and this guide will help you to better understand like what choices in your physical life are going to best support your spiritual growth and your evolution at this time. All right, I think that makes sense. Anyways, I think I need more more tea. So I'm not being misinterpreted. Agendas 2020, chemtrails, trends, mutism are not. Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's like separating conspiracy fact from conspiracy theory, and a lot of even the wildest theories are born out of some fact. But the other way that these theories get started, that may or may not be real, is that we know there's an agenda. We know there's something going on. We know there's a corrupt flow of money and power. We know there's no transparency with governments, with the media, or with big business. So when there's no transparency, there's inconsistencies in actions and news and messages. What are we supposed to think? They're not being transparent with us. What are they hiding? That's the issue, the problem. If things were handled differently with transparency and we were informed, then we wouldn't have like all this conjecture basically. So that's the reason. It's like what are they hiding? What's going on? So and I mean, I found that some conspiracies, real theories, were really based on half truths or conjectures, when others were really facts. So keep an open mind. Don't be fear based. Stay in your heart. When you're in your heart, your bullshit parameter is very accurate. When you're in your heart, when you're in your head, then you can be subject by your own fears, your own misinterpretations of things, your own imagination, so forth and so on. So again, the mind thinks, but the mind can be programmed. The heart cannot be programmed, because it's literally one with the universal heart, which is spirit or God. Stay in the heart, stay in the center of the storm. And that's that. And Doreen of the Children's School of Yoga, which normally we would do her yoga the last Sunday, but it's Memorial Day, so I think we kind of silently agreed not to do it this month. But check out the Children's School of Yoga. Sovereign Lindsay, thank you. You're such a gem too. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Lunar Lotus. Things on a much deeper level. Yeah, thank you. I always say that. Yeah, people that follow me know that I pretty much say the same thing. But the thing is, I found that on YouTube that I look at a lot of different creators, a lot of different videos, a lot of different ideologies, and that's part of the whole thing, because every week there may be new people coming in, and to them it's a new message. You guys, it's an old message, but worth repeating. That's part of community. We're up against a lot in this world, and we're here to try to make a positive difference for ourselves and the world around us. We need that constant reinforcement. We need to support one another and everything. Um, so, okay, 3 card spread. That's next on the agenda. Um, all right. Okay, so yes, I always ask Spirit to guide me to the right card. This one, and this one. Oh, the top card. Okay, the top card is going to be the last card. Oh. Okay, so this is what I got. For those that can't see, it's the Hangman reverse. That's key 12. We're about to go into a 12 universal month in June, so that's an interesting pull. The 10 of rods comes up fairly often. I'm seeing oppression when I look in this card. The 2 of wands, I'm seeing kind of free thinking, and I've been talking about this for a while too, about the split in society that we're starting to recognize more and more. And initially, until I got more information, I just assumed that it was really more about ideologies when it comes to vaccines and things around the virus and everything like that. But as time goes on, I highly suspect this is more going to be about things like artificial intelligence and interfacing with the matrix and stuff like that as well. And just the ideologies is like there's certain people that don't want to you'd be misled and controlled and be plugged into a corrupt system, but would much rather be separate from the whole machine and be more out in nature, more involved with their own spiritual growth and their and conscious community and stuff like that. So part of that may be off-grid living. Doesn't I don't think necessarily has to be. I mean, I'm kind of sort of in between myself. Like I'm not off-grid, but I'm not really part of the grid so much either. So I think that's part of what the 2 is about. And I feel like there's going to be a couple of really powerful speakers or teachers that start to emerge, starting around now and into the summer. Um, and I'm seeing one with dark skin, so maybe an African American or dark skin male figure emerging as somebody that really starts to have an impact on consciousness and society and stuff like that. So I feel like the 10 of rods is telling us like what burdens, or I shouldn't even say burdens, but what weight is still worth carrying, and what do we need to let go of now. And while we're in the final stages of Mercury retrograde, it's probably since it goes direct, I think on Friday, that means it's going to start to come into its station again. So it's Mercury stays stationary roughly 10 days or so. When it starts to go into retrograde, then again when it starts to go direct. So there's a good time for that. Now the Hangman is often about pauses, about sacrifice, about spiritual knowledge and stuff like that. It's the card itself. I forgot the rulership of I have to brush up on some of my basic tarot. In my mind I can't. Now is it air? Air might be the rulership. If you have anybody that's tarot knowledgeable and knows what the rulership of the Hangman is, definitely please let us know. It might be air because I think it is air, but also 12 is a Jupiter ruled number because it reduces to 3. So there's a lot of that kind of expansion and growth energy. So I think it's reversed, so one of the messages would be, don't feel like you have to delay things for other people. Like, I think that the part of the message is not to be in a compromised position or sacrifice your own well-being for others. Like, you need to be strong in order to be there for other people, not to diminish yourself for the sake of others. So there's a fine line of difference there, but at the end of the day, taking care of yourself and your own needs first and foremost is going to make you a lot better at helping other people and helping the world and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like I get a real feeling about doing a lot of research. I feel like Spirit's saying for us to do our homework, to maybe dig a little bit deeper what's going on. There's a lot of subtleties and a lot of new stuff that's coming out that, frankly, I don't really understand at this time as well. Um, and Yeah, so I think there are some good sources on the internet. I have to admit it's almost like a guilty pleasure because I've been enjoying, what's that guy's name, Tucker Carlson on Fox News. And I know I always say don't go to any news sources that have a political agenda, and clearly that there's much more of a right wing kind of an agenda with what he's putting out there. But I have to say he's funny, and I feel like he's pretty on point. And of course, there's always good old Russell Brand, who really tries to, you can see where his mind is also, but he does a good job in not in hiding it. And then, yeah, and you guys, if you know some really good, nonpartisan, non-biased, real, accurate news that we can get on the internet or whatever, because most of it's either mainstream news, which we know we can't trust, or it's politically motivated, which again we can't trust that either. As I often say, based on this clever meme that I saw a few years ago with the Native Americans saying, "What if I was to tell you the right wing and the left wing belong to the same bird?" And I think that's what we need to understand. Yeah, we're in Gemini season. Gemini is going to be a major player as we get into the autumn months, because Mars is going to be in Gemini 7 months, because it goes retrograde then direct again in the sign of Gemini. Mars is energy, Gemini is duality. So there's going to be a lot of focus on the duality thinking, and a lot of the programming, and again a lot of energy towards people really needing to decide where they stand in this whole trend of technology. Artificial intelligence in and of itself, it can be a very beneficial thing until you start to understand who's going to be in charge of that and who's going to control that, which is going to be the same people that are in charge and controlling everything and have been for a very long time. Only we're hearing more and more about it because they really get over the top now. I think they're getting desperate. When I say they, I mean those that are, control the governments, the corporations, the flow of money, the flow of power, basically, the pinnacle of human society, as it were. I don't know if pinnacle is the right word, but the top dogs, might be better. Um, but it's all about control. It's all about maintaining control over the masses, so the very few can benefit. So it's like, who's going to be in charge? Who's going to be kind of controlling this technology? From what I'm hearing and what a lot of people are saying, that and this is something that I did in a psychic prediction recently about the internet probably being dissolved in about 3 years or so in favor of using a metaverse technology, as the new internet, because you can interact with it. It's almost akin to the hollow suites on Star Trek. You can actually interact and meet people in a much different way, that way. But then again, there's the social passports, there's this, that, and the other thing, and then there's that interfacing with technology. So look at Revelations about the mark of the beast on the forehead and the wrists, basically, and that's basically what's going on right now. So anyway, um, so knowledge is power. That's what the message I'm seeing in the Two of Rods. Empower yourself with knowledge. Um, and I feel like they're saying no matter what's going on or how you're feeling, keep moving forward because the world tries to weigh us down, and do whatever you can to be healthy. Change your diet, change your exercise and your routines, because there's a lot of energy that's suppressing people, and people are getting ill. And we talk a lot about ascension symptoms, and I have a video on that. But there's a flip side to that. That not everybody that think they have ascension symptoms or having ascension symptoms. Some people are reacting to Wi-Fi signals or 5G or technology, or there's a lot of electronic programming that's happening. So I feel like there's a lot going on that's trying to interrupt our energy fields and things like that. So be aware, not afraid, but aware. It's all going to be good in the end. But this is part of the awakening. It's part of the human psyche because we're geared for survival. If something's new and different and unknown, that it's natural that we'll fear it. Those that are in control understand that and exploit it. But separating that from what's being done to us versus like what's the natural fear of the unknown. That's an art within itself. So that's basically what I'm getting. I think a lot of global news. I think that's why the world is here. We're getting that anyways. A lot of it's thrown in our faces. Of course, there's another big event with the school shooting and stuff like that. So prayers, blessings to the victims of that and the families and everything like that as well. But I think the idea is to have compassion, say your blessings, send them a lot of love, but not to get caught up in the whole narrative of distraction, of keying in on one thing that's going on, that's horrible and very tragic. But then the news will draw attention, smoke screen, other things that are going on. So just be a little, make sure that you remain expanded and broad as we go forward, because next week there'll be some other thing to get our attention in the news and another one or whatever. Meanwhile, a lot is going on behind the scenes, and they're showing me money. So the other thing is the whole like flow of money and everything. They're literally well, it's not printing money. They're adding it in the database. That they're creating money basically, which of course leads to inflation, which inevitably leads to a recession. So again, this whole up and down with money, again, people get fearful of that because money is energy. It's our security in this physical life. So all this is being exploited. So again, I think that's what that's all saying, that we all need to take a collective deep breath and every day do some meditation, expand the heart, go out into nature, feel God, feel spirit, feel and support one another. We are community. So let me move on to my next thing. Let me pull a Native American card. And yeah, thank you, Susan. I believe that also. Yes. Important for people to understand the agendas. Yeah. Knowledge is power. Know and understand that. Just not to feed into the fear. I think that's what MT is saying. Um, okay. Well, thank you, Janice, and thank you for being here, as always. I know at least one person is moving, so that could be another thing with this 10 of rods. Like the people that are moving, that card might be for you also, because you have to carry a lot of stuff with that. All right, so let's see what this is saying. All right, I just have to clear my mind a second. Okay, this is the card they want. The stars. We've gotten this. This is the third time we've gotten this card, by the way. Yeah, the spider is a very powerful symbol in Native American tradition. It's the life weaver. So basically, weaving the web, weaving our lives. And it's interesting, because I talk about this a lot. Also, I refer to the great web of life, or it's kind of like the internet in the sky, so to speak. But the great web of life. There's another name for it. Um, or the fabric of life. Like we all have a thread in the great web of life. Some people have longer, thicker threads. Some people have smaller, thinner threads. That just depends on your energy and your ability to influence the thread. So the web, the web influences us, and we influence the web. We were talking about that. That's not the interweb. I mean the great web of life. So that includes not only the people, but the animals, the trees, the earth itself. Everything is alive, everything vibrates, everything has a frequency. That includes extraterrestrial intelligence, the Arcturians, the Syrians, the Pleiadians, all the other. There's people that really know their stuff when it comes to other societies that interact with human society behind the scenes. Identify, I think, over 100 different alien races that are aware of human activity. So when I channel, when I do the master teachers, they're like the ones that work with all. I think they're called the Council of Light also. Um, and they work with a lot of these extraterrestrial intelligence as well as human intelligences. They're here to help us awaken, as they've done for many other societies and many other planets, many other star systems, other galaxies, as well as other dimensions or other levels of reality. So, yeah, while Mercury's retrograde, what do you want to create in your life? What connections do you want to make? How do you want to grow spiritually? Like what new interests are coming up, or what old things do you want to start up again? But I think that's what this is. The stars is always about hope, but it's about connection, understanding that we're not alone, that we have higher benevolent intelligence that work with us, and helping us to evolve so that we can overcome the lower negative forces. Because in the end, it's overcoming the lower negative forces within ourselves, basically. So let me pull a medicine card. Um, Medicine cards from what's the name? I have the book too. Jamie Sams. Yeah, Jamie Sams and David Carson. All right. This one. Blue heron. Oh, I love blue herons. Sometimes I see them on the creek here, on the Esopus Creek where I live. So this is key 46. I mean, certainly they would have a connection with water, right? Um, they're very graceful, but I know there's another meaning. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. That's why I have the book. uh, um, Self-reflection. That's right. Yeah, basically, you see herons. They're very often by a calm pond, looking down, looking at their own reflection, right? So this is perfect because we're still, for a couple more days, we're still in the reflective 11 universal month. It's lunar rule because it reduces to a 2. So that's very reflective energy. And the little poem here is: Blue heron, thank you, sacred water bird, for sending reflections to me, the mirrors of the quest of life, the worlds that live inside of us. Show me how relationships work, with my path woven within the whole, the lesson of kinship with all life, reflecting my eternal goal. So that really is a continuation of the message of the great web of life and everything. That relationships work because if you take the sum of every single relationship that you have right now, relationship with your husband, wife, or partner, if you have one of those, family, friends, coworkers, animals, take the sum of that, and you know exactly what you're putting out into the universe, because the universe, it's our classroom physical life is set up in a certain way, and it's fractal. So fractal means self-replicating. Well, it's more complicated than that, but to simplify it, it's self-replicating. So the only thing that changes the replications in the universe is consciousness. So anything that changes in our consciousness changes things on a quantum level, which changes things over time on a macro level. So whatever energy we're putting out is reflected back to us based on our relationships with the world around us. Understand the dynamics of that. That is key to understanding yourself, understanding what you're putting out into the world. And by that, awareness is the harbinger or the precursor of change. So once you have that knowledge, then you can start to work with reprogramming and changing what energy you're putting out in the universe. And that's going to change your experiences in your physical life. So that's what Blue Heron, I believe, is trying to teach us this morning. Why are you calling your father was amazing. Okay. You're just talking amongst each other. I'm sorry, I'm missing your conversation. But I'm sure you're having an amazing one. Okay. I try to keep a little bit. That's why I have my glasses on, so I can actually see the comments as they come up. All right. So last but not least, certainly is our angel message from Doreen Virtue's Messengers from the Angels card. Pulling you right to the top card. Grace and Antoinette to help heal the situation, see the other person's point of view with compassion. So again, I told you guys in the beginning that the messages always build on, through the divination cards that I use. It's the same message building itself. So again, you know, it's important, that's part of compassion, being able to understand the other person's point of view. Doesn't mean you got to agree with them, doesn't mean that they're right, but we do have to understand that in order to be in our power and in our truth. So, I mean, I've had situations where I've been, really taken back and really upset and really pissed off at people or whatever. And it's very easy to lash out at them. You're wrong, I'm right, or whatever. But again, when we work with the heart, then we're not in our programmed minds anymore. We're not in this in the social conditioned mind anymore. We're vibrating a much higher frequency. So when you're in your heart, you can see the other person's point of view with compassion. Now, that doesn't mean that you agree with them or that you stop debating them or you hold your ground or even start arguing or fighting with the person. It's just a matter of understanding their point of view. And then with compassion, you can get something done. Without compassion, it's much more likely to be like a projection of our own subconscious shadows, what we're disagreeing with or having disdain with the other person is much more likely to be a projection of our own egos, our own subconscious shadows. So anyway, that's what I got for you today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for being here. I love you. I think on Wednesday I'm going to do the June. It's actually June 1st. So Wednesday we're going to do the June psychic forecast. That I do every month here on the channel. So that'll be a live stream at 7 on Tuesday. And that's what I have for you. So I love you. Take care. Be well. Thanks for being here.